welcome. It's here.
So, finally back on the YouTube. Fingers crossed I stick with it. I'm going to aim to do a vlog a week. Doing one every second week I find is too over the place. And doing it every week just kind of keeps me honest, keeps me accountable. I am in the office where the old sofa is dismantled. Recently changed up my office setup, so if I spin this round, obviously the dog, if it zooms, there we go. Gonna say hello. Oh, he's such a good looking. You're such a pretty looking doggy. Look at your little face. Look at your little face. Hey, good boy. Alright, so monitor's back on the wall. Vision board and social media stuff. Another whiteboard which I need to fill in. That is my pin board. That will be going here soon. Obviously you need to have Lord of the Rings mouse mat, thank you Gunnar, and then some little accolades there. Behind the bed is all my trophies from competing, which is nice to have because there's some really good wins there, and then there's some really I dropped it. Get her down. Oh. There's some really good wins and from some really nice shows I've done, and then some really shit ones, which kind of reminds me to stay honest and kind of keep after it. Try to focus this a bit better. There we go. Hey, why are you being a pest? If you see, this is what my day looks like. Sitting at my desk with the dog, trying to get attention. Hey, you big sook. Down, sit. Good boy. Anyway, so today's the 9th of May. Tomorrow will be my 10th birthday. Tomorrow's the 10th. 9, 10, 11, that's how the year works. What the fuck? Tomorrow will be my 26th birthday. So it does kind of puts a lot of stuff into perspective. Mainly, I feel like I've slacked massively this past year, mainly since about December. And mainly on the business side of stuff, I've still made decent progress with my bodybuilding, but again, I do feel I've slacked somewhat on that as well. But it is what it is. Such is life. It just, last year was a very, very good year for myself, and I felt like I finally kind of tapped into my potential, I guess. So from now until ever, the focus is to stay on task and don't let self-doubt really get me, because nothing really happened. It was more just my own brain, my own mental health. My mental health got a bit shit in the last year, and it's taken me a longer time than I realised to truly get over it. But anyway, today is back day, so it's Monday. Start of the week fresh. For a while now, I've known that my back is a weakness. Well, pretty much since I was 16 when I first competed, I knew my back was a weakness. But as I'm getting bigger and bigger and bigger, I notice in each off season that my back holds the most fat. Not that I'm calling myself fat, but I have body fat. We all have body fat. Where I store the most body fat seems to be in my back shots. I don't really know why this is. I don't know if it's like a genetic thing or what. But this gives you a false sense of where you're at and where you're not at in the off season, because I'll do my rear shots in the off season and I'll be like, fuck, I got a really fucking big back, I got a really wide lat spread, and then as I diet down, not that it's shit, it just doesn't compare to my front shots in my opinion. So there's a huge focus this year on my back shots. I did start off with doing back a couple times a week, so I do like a back day and then do top up on my hamstring day on a Wednesday, and then I'll do another bit of a touch up on the Friday. At the time I was doing chest and back, but now it's a push day. And it was mainly just to refine my form and allow me to practice the skill that is training my back. But now that I've gotten better at it and I can really feel my back and feel it in the movements I'm doing, and staying true to myself and not letting my ego really get the better of me. I've got a very strong posterior chain, but sadly that doesn't always, it does most of the time, but it doesn't always translate to a strong muscle group. So this year with my back training has taken a huge change. It's the first time I've been in a gym where I've had access to a lot of plate loader kit and a lot of bodybuilding specific machines, but I'm taking full advantage of that at the moment, and I'm seeing big changes in my back, which is great. So today, gonna film my back day. Also, I got my new shoes. These are Nike Metcon Sports. I'm not taking up CrossFit, but I just think they look fucking sick, and they're really lightweight, and my toe shoes have holes in them. And as much as I like the toe shoes, like they're fucking brilliant for legs, and I'm gonna trial these this week. And if I don't, or this week and next week, and if I rate them for leg day, the toe shoes are getting in the bin. But I've just wanted like something solid that I can just use as a training shoe. Like, I love my trainers, like Jordans and everything else. I love my trainers, but I've wanted something that's like solid and robust, that isn't gonna wear. And I found like Vans is decent and Converse are decent, but I find I go through them relatively quickly, and then when they're done, they're done. Like the soles, like with my Converse, the bit here would rip up, and it drive me nuts. And because I'm always going onto my toes with doing calves, I just kind of wreck the shoe, or because I'm quite heavy heeled, put a lot of weight on my heel, whether it's doing legs or just how I walk, the heels would wear away, so my heels would get battered when I'm training, and it just weren't ideal. Along with that, I've got very high arches, which can cause me quite bad ankle pain, and like it feels like shin splints. It's not shin splints. It's not Oslo slatters, but it feels like shin splints, or it is shin splints. It's just not slatters, whatever the thing is called. And it mainly comes from my ankles being so tight. And I've noticed, along with stretching my calves, that wearing a flatter shoe does the job. So pretty chuffed with these. Got them off goat.com. Probably the only time I've used like a sneaker site for like anything under £100. I think these are like £77. There's a bunch of other colourways or colours. Quite right, the yellow ones, but I don't have anything in yellow, and I figured black. I mean, these were the cheapest, but black goes with everything, and I wear a lot of black. But they're pretty fucking slick. But yeah, so if you see me wearing like multiple pairs of these trainers now, you know why. But they're pretty comfy, and I'm lazy, I'm a child, so it's got a Velcro strap. So that is my initial review of the shoe as well. But yeah, excited for today's back day. I left my logbook in the gym the other day, so I can't tell you what I'm doing, but I'm going to film it all. Going to try and use my camera. I won't lie, can't be fucked filming stuff a lot of the time in the gym, because I just want to train, especially if there's three of us. There's less of an excuse, because I've got time between sets to set the camera up. But also, like, I don't want to be that dickhead in the gym with a huge tripod and a huge camera acting like he's fucking someone. There's a bit of a catch-22, because I'm that person sometimes, but I also can't stand it. Like, I can't stand being that person anyway. I don't think it takes away from your training. But definitely just it extends sessions, and with where Flex Unit is, and both training partners, I'm very lucky that they both can be bothered to come and pick me up and then drive to Flex Unit. It's like, it can be like a 20 to 40 minute journey there, and then training can be anywhere between, like, if it's anything other than arms, like 90 minutes to like 3 hours. So adding setting up a camera and getting the right angle and all that, it adds up. But anyway, I'm gonna film everything tonight. And then I had little voiceovers, because with a lot of my training I just kind of like put my training up with some music and I'm like, there you go, and I realise that's shite, and until I have the confidence to like talk to the camera when I'm holding the camera and accept I'm going to look like a dickhead in the gym, I'm not going to do that. So you're going to get a voiceover, unless someone wants to pay a videographer to film me around the gym each week, every week. That'd be good. That'd be nice. Anyway, back day it is. Hurt my back on squats on Saturday, and last week we did T-bar and it was really fucking fun. I think we're gonna have to drop that out, which is upsetting, but such is life. But I should have said that the second time now. Anyway, yeah, see you later. So for myself, I really want to bring up my calves. I think everyone, unless you're like Flex Lewis, you can get your calves bigger. So I like to start every session with hitting my calves. I do this 3 times a week. So on this, we're doing a toe press on the pin loaded leg press. I really like the angle of this. I can really put a lot of stretch into the calf. So on this, we're doing a slight pause at the top and then a nice long pause at the bottom, and really trying to train the calf in both end ranges. And then we slowly transitioned onto the V squat. So here we just did a standing calf raise. I do prefer the standing calf raise machine, but I do find the stack is a little bit too light for what we are doing. So here I'm sure we worked up to about a set of 20. We rested for 20 seconds, went to failure, and then took some weight off, and then took that set to failure. So it was quite a long extended set, but for my calves I really like to hit the volume and get a lot of blood into the muscle, regardless if my rep range is high or it's low. We're going heavy for that rep range and we're trying to obliterate the calves. So this was the first movement of the day for back. So we're doing a straight arm pull down. So I'm using an attachment I got off Amazon. It's called a Vulcan attachment. So where my hands are, that's the length of the longest rope in the gym, and then there's obviously the longer attachment there. Also, you'll notice that I'm doing this with my heels raised on the squat wedges, I do this just to take my lower back out of the movements, my hips out of the movement, so I can really focus on my lats, as this is a movement that I feel if I stay locked in, it obliterates them, but if I don't, it can end up using a lot of momentum to move the weight. So here I'm really just focused on getting my elbow as far past as my ear as I can. And then after the 2 sets of straight arm pull down, we went on to 1 set on the single arm lat pull down. Here it's just about getting the lat as short as I possibly can. At the start of the session, I find when I've tried to do this at the end of the session or mid session, I really struggle to get my lat short. So because it's a focus, we're doing it right at the start. Here I am sitting almost skew, but it's mainly to keep my shoulder, elbow and wrist joint in line with the cable, so I can get my elbow right down into my hip. Then we moved on to the chest supported T-bar row. So I am doing this with somewhat of a lat bias. So you'll see that my elbows aren't going much past my midline, so I don't want them going past my hip or my ear. And I'm also trying to keep the hands down, so I'm thinking about dragging my pinky kind of up the A-frame of the bench and into my hips. So this was the second set on the chest support T-bar, and we were aiming for above 15 to 20 reps here. I found that my legs are probably the one body part that grows, not the quickest, but the best, the most consistent. And I do a lot of heavy work on my legs, but also do a lot of high rep work. A lot of sets above 15, a lot of sets above 20, so that's what I'm trying to do here, especially on big compounds where it just becomes a lung busting, gut busting exercise. Then from there we went on to the seated cable row, where I'm doing, it's kind of like a mid-back focused row. I'm using the close grip handle as much as the textbook says it doesn't work. I really like it, and it helps hit my mid-back, which needs, my whole back needs more focus. So here we just did 2 straight sets, nice and simple. Then we went into the last overhead movement of the day, where this is mainly an upper back focused pull down, and this was performed as a rest pause set. So just doing 3 rounds of failure, aiming to fail anywhere between about 20 to 30 reps across the 3 rounds. The one thing I find is that kind of having a slight momentum to kind of pull my shoulders down helps really keep the focus on my upper back, and also letting my shoulders roll forward really helps almost emphasize the stretch. And at this part of the session I want to get the most out of my back, so I want to get as much blood as I can into the muscle and stretch it as much as I can, really to get the best pump I can. So last movement of the day here, we did, for back anyway, we did barbell rows. So I've not done these in a while, purely because I've been trying to refine my ability to train my back, and I've had to kind of go away from the big basic movements I love. But now that I'm getting better at it, we added this back in. So this went very well, and you'll notice that I'm slightly pausing at the knee to really put as much tension and pressure through my back in that like lengthened state, and really get the most out of my upper back for the last movement of the day. Then from there we went on to rear delts. So I don't do much for rear delts, I just do this little superset. So I do a very strict rear delt fly on the cables, really trying to push my elbows and hands kind of to the wall behind me. I'm not focused on my shoulders converging. And then as soon as I fail, I do a kind of hybrid between a rear delt row and a face pull. And you'll notice here that I don't get many reps. I'm just focused on getting my elbows kind of in line with my scapula. For rear delts, I've always done this kind of like pump high rep stuff at the end of sessions because I find this is what helps to grow them the most. And this is a great superset you can just add in right at the end of the session. So next time you're training, make sure you hit up this superset and let me know how you get on.